Hi, my name's Andrew from Cocktails in the City, and I'd like to share with you some ideas, recipes, top tips to create great drinks in your own home through a series of short conversations with some of the UK's finest bars and bartenders. Today I'm joined by Nathan Larkin from Double Down and Speaking Code, based up in Manchester. They'll be showing us how to make some amazing drinks in the comfort of your own home. So thanks for joining us, Nathan.
Hey, no problem. Thanks so much for having me, Andrew. So welcome, guys. I am the founder of Speaking Code in Manchester, which is a really unique little cocktail bar, also a co-owner of Double Down as well. Today, really, as you said, it's all about breaking down some of the barriers to create unique ingredients, which on paper may look a little bit complex, but it's all about today just showing some simple techniques in really being able to be a bit more creative with home cocktail making and make some delicious drinks.
Great, okay. So I can see on the table there you've got what looks like a banana, grapefruit. Yeah. What else is on there?
Carrots too. Very underused ingredient in my opinion.
Great, okay. So obviously you're known as a cocktail bar, but I know you also get a lot of recognition for your food as well, and you've got some quite unique focus and take. Is it reduce, reuse and recycle?
Sustainability is a huge topic these days, and it's really been embedded in the DNA of how we operate and how we choose to create our menus since day one, really. So it's really all about connecting the dots, not only with the guests that come to the building, but also in the menus that we create. So for example, if we have a peel of carrot, we just have to ask ourselves before putting that peel in the bin, can we actually get another use out of it? Does it still have value? And if the answer is yes, then we'll 100% find a way to connect dots and use these things on our menus.
Which fruit are you going to kick off with, Nathan?
We're going to start with grapefruit today. We'll work our way down from grapefruit, we'll then look at carrot, and then we'll look at the banana. So when it comes to grapefruit, we're going to use pink grapefruit here. And the reason why we're going to use this is because there's a couple of things I'm going to show you that you can do with this. But also you can apply the same thought process to other citrus fruits as well, like orange, lemon, lime. But this one is the easiest to squeeze by hand, I guess, because it's such a large surface area. So what I'm going to do, and I would always encourage everybody to do this as well, is when you have citrus fruits, before you juice it for home use or any lemon, lime juice or fresh grapefruit juice, is always take the peels first. And I'm going to show you a couple of things that you can do with the peels. So the first thing I'm going to do before I before I actually juice the grapefruit, I'm going to take off the grapefruit peels all the way around. So then what I'll be left with is a whole grapefruit that just has pith on the outside. And then I'll cut that up and juice it. Now, today we're actually going to look at 2 uses for each one of these, just because we'll keep it nice and simple for now. It's all about those baby steps and introductions. And then afterwards as well, you can always reach out to Andrew, and we're going to put some things down in writing here. If you want to even take it further and go to like 3 and 4 uses for each thing. So what I've got now is a grapefruit that is only little bits of the peel left. You can still take these off if you want to, but right now I've just got a whole grapefruit full of pith. And then what I'm going to show you how to do with the peels here is something called an oleosaccharin, which in Latin is oiled sugar. So these grapefruit peels here are full of natural oils, and you can see this. Sometimes you'll see when people zest a citrus peel over a cocktail, you'll see some of these oils come out of the peel. But we're going to use those in a different way today rather than aromatizing cocktails. We're going to make an oleosaccharin, oiled sugar, and by doing that, all we're going to do is add a little bit of castor sugar on top of the peels, place it in a small container. So as you see, I've got quite an elaborate setup here, but actually a lot of these things I'll just start to move out the way as we go on. But having Tupperware boxes at home, they're your friends. You can use these and utilize them in a really good way, actually. So before I'm actually going to do that, though, what I'm going to do is just show you something that we do at the bar. If I just take a little piece of this peel off, so rather, if I was going to use a grapefruit peel as a garnish, I've got here, it's a cookie cutter, or you can use these for icing sugar as well. You can get these from any pound store or any kind of like, one of those DIY stores and in baking sections, for example. What I'm going to do is actually just press on the underneath of the peel, and I'm just going to take off a leaf shape from the citrus rind. Now, what this is actually going to do for me is when we make our cocktails a little bit later on, you do want to use a garnish and still extract some of the aroma from the zest. Excuse me. You actually got like a nice leaf shape here. So not only do you have a peel on top, it's also a part of the design as well, which is really important to the cocktail. So the rest of the peel here, I'm just going to put in a small Tupperware box, and then I'll use the same. I'll do the same with the rest of the peel that I've taken here. And then all we want to do is take a little bit of caster sugar. Caster sugar is nice and fine.
Yeah, does it need to be caster sugar versus demerara or anything else?
I would encourage using caster sugar because to extract the oil from a peel, you're actually using the hygroscopic qualities of sugar, which actually is essentially water or liquid absorption. So with this being so fine, it just actually speeds up that process a little bit. Yeah. So using things like demerara, it's quite thick, which means that you need a bit more of a timely process. So what I'm going to do is coat my citrus peels with some caster sugar, and I'm just gently going to press it down with the same spoon that I've used, and essentially what you're doing is massaging the peels. Which I know sounds funny, but essentially you don't want to really push down too hard and break them apart, but you just want to gently massage them. Another thing you can do is then just seal the lid and then shake it. That agitates peels and start the process of the other extraction. Now, I've actually got a finished product here, so one of the most important things especially when you're experimenting with more elaborate techniques, it's very important for preparation. So this is something that I've already pre-prepared just to be able to show you right now. If I leave this for 24 hours, then hopefully all that sugar would have turned into a liquid state. And what it will taste like is a nice bitter citrus. You can do things like replace your regular sugar syrup in a cocktail for a oleo, and what it will do is it will be sweet, but it also has a slight bitterness as well. So when we come to making our first cocktail, I'll use this instead of regular sugar syrup. And then next up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to then juice grapefruit.
Is that oleosaccharum also known as a sherbet?
Not necessarily. What you can do though is afterwards, if you take the peels and then you let them dry out, you can then grind them up in with some more caster sugar, and you'll essentially get powdered grapefruit sugar, which I would then imagine is more of a sherbet consistency, like a flavored sugar.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So this one is essentially a liquid state sherbet. And again, just with the DIY theme, I've got here just a container which would just normally contain juice. This is my fiance's right now, but she won't mind me using this at all. So I'm just going to take out the grapefruit juice here. Now there's two things I'm going to do with this actually. One is going to be replacing regular citrus in my cocktail. So grapefruits themselves, pink grapefruits to be exact, are a little bit less citrus than limes and lemons. They do contain a little bit of bitterness, but also got bright, sharp notes as well. So we just do a lot to elevate your cocktail and make it a little bit brighter for you. So, as I said before, if you did want to look at ways to even use this further and go a bit deeper, we'll put that in writing for you as well. Anybody can always reach out to me on social media platforms, and happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, what's the best way to contact you, Nathan? Is it through the Facebook site or?
Yeah, it'd be Facebook or Instagram. Any one of those, any direct message will just come straight through to me. So if you go to Speaking Code, which Speaking Code MCR is Facebook, and speak_in_code on Instagram. Those are our channels, and yeah, always happy to help. We always get that quite a lot actually. We get quite a lot of people asking us about techniques and ingredients, and we're all about sharing, so we're happy to do that. All right, so again, we've got fresh grapefruit juice, and we're going to use this two ways. We're going to use this in a cocktail we're going to be making for you right now, and we're also going to use some of that in making part of our next ingredient. So we're going to be making a twist on a Tom Collins, and as I said, it's going to be a little bit brighter and sharper. So Tom Collins traditionally would have gin, lemon juice, sugar, and soda, just those four ingredients. So again, something that's nice and simple to make at home. But instead, what we're going to use instead of lemon juice is we're going to use fresh grapefruit. fresh pink grapefruit juice. And instead of regular sugar syrup, we're going to use some of that grapefruit oil sugar as well.
So I guess it'll have quite a nice sort of pinky hue with it.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to take a highball glass here, a long glass, and then my tin. As soon as I've used this, I can just get this out of the way for you. All right, so we're going to use 50 ml of gin.
Yeah.
Replace the 25 ml traditional lemon juice with pink grapefruit juice. And again, really, there's no limits here. If you want to add more grapefruit juice to this, then it's by all means go for it. Just to pull back a little bit more on the soda water. Okay, now you'll be able to see how the consistency of this is. So I'm going to add 20 ml of my oiled sugar. It really just does look like a 1-to-1 sugar syrup.
And in terms of the ratio of the grapefruit rind to the caster sugar, is it just to cover it? Is that basically the guide?
Yeah, just the guide, cover the surface area. I think I believe that a good ratio to go by as well is if you have 4 lemons, take off all of the citrus in the lemons, and you go for 120 grams of sugar. So always stick by that guideline.
So 1 lemon being about 30 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna ice up my tin. I brought some ice from the bar, so I just have them in some insulated bags right now. But we do make good ice at the bar, so I thought I would bring some along with you.
Is that one you prepared earlier, Nathan?
Sorry?
That one you prepared earlier?
Yeah, it's a long process here, but I say whenever you can, it's quite an easy process actually, it's just time management, but I'd say whenever you can get the chance to try and make some ice at home, some nice clear blocks, then I would always say go for it. Right, I'm just going to shake this so it'll be a bit noisy. Okay. Take a strainer, and if you have a fine strainer as well, or tea strainer, something that's a little bit has mesh, it will take out all of the small particles of the citrus fruit, and that's a bonus, but it's not entirely necessary.
I guess if you don't have a cocktail strainer at home, you could use another sealed container, like a jam jar or something.
Oh yeah, 100%. So a lot of people are doing that right now. Actually, they're taking jam jars and they're poking holes in the top of the lids. That's a really great way as well, actually, just to kind of DIY or homemade cocktail experience. So, for example, if you have 2 jars the same, you can take one of the lids and close that, seal it up to shake it. And then once that's done, once that's shaken, you just replace it with the other lid that's got holes and use that to strain out. It's quite clever actually. And then I'm just going to top now with soda water. And then the zest familiar.
Oh, that's the leaf zest that you cut earlier.
That's exactly that, yeah. And then the rest of the peel can be used, and it'll still be enough in there to have the oils extracted. So there we go, guys. Your first cocktail, nice and easy.
Yeah, so just to recap, that was 50 ml, 2 parts gin, 1 part citrus, 1 part oleosaccharum. Is that correct?
Exactly that, yeah.
Yeah, 2, 1, 1. It's nice and easy.
Top with soda. It's got a really nice the sweetness there, but it's super fresh, really bright, crisp. and it has a little bit of bitterness as well, which is kind of a where a nice twist on the Tom Collins would come in. So.
Great. Okay, so we've used the grapefruit 2 ways so far, haven't we? We've created an oleo saccharum.
Yep.
We've created a garnish, and we've also created the Collins as well. So.
Yeah, and it's super simple. I think citrus fruits like grapefruit are always some of my favorite ones to use because you can get so many. You can get potentially even 5 or 6 uses out of them as well. So always good.
Great.
All
okay.
right.
Quite jealous about that. I've only got a glass of water in front of me.
So next up, we'll be looking at a banana.
Yeah.
Two ways to use a banana. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is when I peel the banana, again, the peel commonly just gets discarded, but actually you can turn them into a nice savory snack. What we call banana skin bacon. So it's something that we actually do at Speak and Co and Double Down. At Speak and Co, we use it for a cocktail garnish, and at Double Down, we actually use it in small pieces. We cut them up and we use it as a topping for one of our plant-based hot dogs. So yeah, we call it banana skin bacon. Or it has a similar consistency to jerky as well. So it's it's a little bit harder to break off. It's chewy. It can have a crisp to it as well. So we'll talk about how to make that from the peel. And then we're going to make a banana cordial as well. So the banana cordial is going to then turn into a banana soda. The banana soda is super simple to make. Now, again, when you think about sodas at home, you don't need fancy equipment. You don't need soda streams or CO2 canisters. You can do this by simply just buying store-bought soda water and then making the syrup, making a nice concentrated syrup, adding the syrup to the soda water and stay carbonated, which is a good tip.
Yeah, it sounds a lot easier to name.
Yeah, of course, and it's a nice little hack as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break apart the flesh of the banana. You could go super fine with this if you want to as well by chopping this up, because the more surface area exposed, the quicker the infusion happens. So I already pre-prepared a marinade, and I already pre-made some banana skin bacon. What we'll do is, again, we'll go through and we'll pop down in writing, and I'll send you some nice photos as well, because this is something we've been playing around with for a long time now, so I do have some nice photos here. But the brine, essentially, is dark soy. So you dark soy sauce, water, maple syrup, smoked paprika, a little bit of salt, and then some kind of vinegar too. For example, having the acidity in that brine is actually really important. The acidity and the salt is really what makes it feel like it's, especially when you use the term banana skin bacon, to feel like it's a similar replica, for example, or at least if it's a replica of a jerky of some kind. So we would take our banana skins. We actually, excuse me, we need to take off lightly though the fibrous inside. So what you'll get is a little bit of the skin left with a little bit of the flesh. And all we need to do is just run a spoon down ever so gently, and you'll get the small stringy fibers. And the more you take off of those, then the easier it is to actually soak up the marinade, and then when you fry them off. So we're just going to leave those there. I'm just going to just lightly chop up these bananas some more, just again, just to expose some of that surface area. And then just before our call, I actually pot boiled some water in a kettle. So I just want to make, I'm just going to make a nice simple 1-to-1 sugar syrup. So if you've got some kitchen scales at home, they don't need to be super accurate as long as it's by the gram. Then I'm just going to do 1 part to 1 part. So I'm going to do 200 mils of water to 200 grams of sugar to make a 1-to-1 sugar syrup. And then what I'm going to do is pour that over the banana, let that sit for about 10 minutes. We'll look at our third and final ingredient, and then we'll come back to that, and then we'll make our drink with that as well. So set your scale to 0. Take your caster sugar. Well, this can be done with anything as well. You'll get a richer, deeper flavor from things like demerara or a brown sugar like the muscovado. But just to keep it nice and clean here, we'll use a caster sugar.
Yeah, and this one-to-one simple syrup to me seems like a very, very simple staple that you find in nearly all drinks and very easy to do at home. And
Yeah.
if you were to go out and buy a commercially made GOM, it's actually quite an expensive product when it's such an easy thing to make at home.
Yeah, 100%. This is one thing I always try to tell people as well, is just to make it at home, because this stores for a very, very long time, forever, in your fridge. So just make it, keep it, and you can use it. You can use it whenever you need to, but even you can take parts of it. And for example, if you have some fresh raspberries and you think, listen, they're about to go bad, and I know I'm going to use them, you can then just make a quick one-to-one raspberry syrup, for example. And again, you can apply this to sodas and make your own sodas at home. It's really simple. And then I'm now going to add water.
And does it matter if it's boiling, or should it just be warm?
Warm is fine.
Yeah.
So you don't want to burn yourself, especially since you're doing this at home. So warm water is fine, as long as the sugar can dissolve in that water as well. If it's cold water, it's obviously going to take a little bit longer to do so. So warm water, just to speed up the process of sugar dissolving. Give that a little stir. So my banana syrup or banana cordial is on the way. I'm just going to stir that occasionally, just to help the infusion, make sure it's all moving around. And then we're going to come back to this in about 5-10 minutes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start on the third and final product that we have, and then we'll come back to this. You can also add a small pinch of salt as well in that banana cordial, and it goes a really long way. Salt is a great flavor enhancer, especially when you're working with sweet products too. So I've
seen that in a lot of baking recipes and also cocktail recipes, especially competitions. There's a little dash of salt or brine.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're using sweet and sour ingredients, for example. So if you have like even our Tom Collins, if you put a small dash, a small pinch of salt in that, or a salt solution where you dissolve salt in water, it really goes a long way to binding everything together and just adding something new. It's the cherry on top of the cake in most cases.
Yeah.
So third and final product that we have is the carrot. I've done two things with this here. Again, I think such an underutilized ingredient. These pouches come with a small air pocket on the top there, and if you use the same fat sealer that you use to pull out air from a red wine bottle, you can use those as just an air pump, hand pump to pull out the air. Essentially, when there's no oxygen in there as well, it works a little bit quicker for you. So pickling carrots, you can use these as a snack on a salad. But I'm actually going to use them as a cocktail garnish as well. So I'm going to make what's called I call it a hard breakfast martini. And the inspiration here was the fact that there was a myth at the end of World War II that you could actually see better at night if you ate your carrots. So there was a campaign that was actually making the rounds that British pilots would actually have more success in nighttime, fighting in nighttime, because they ate carrots. And then the UK went crazy over carrots, and then there was a huge surplus. So this is a great way to preserve carrots. And I know that sometimes it's something that sits in your fridge for a long time and just grows old. So you take those carrots, you chop them up, you shred them, you peel them, whatever you do. Just add equal parts of vinegar, water. If you're going to measure this out and be specific, you can just add 2% of the weight of the total liquid in salt. So for example, if you have 100 mils of liquid, so that'd be 50 ml water, 50 ml of vinegar, just add 2 grams or 2 ml of salt to that solution. And then you leave it in a jar and then just let it pickle naturally. You can leave it in the fridge and that lasts you a very long time. This lasts potentially 6 to 8 months. We're going to use that as a garnish for a cocktail. And then with the rest of the carrot, what we do is we shred it. So nice and easy, just take a carrot, take a grater, and you shred that. When you've got the shreds, you're going to add this to it's like a simple syrup solution, but actually you're going to use more sugar than water. So roughly between 1.5 and 2 times the amount of water that you actually use. So if I'm going to use 100 ml of water, I use 200 grams of sugar. So I'll make it 2 to 1 this time.
Yeah.
And then take your shredded carrots and you're going to boil them, let them simmer for about an hour. And essentially what you do is reduce the water content. So you need that water content for the sugar to be able to dissolve, but then you're actually going to reduce the water content so it actually creates kind of like a marmalade consistency. So I've got that here, and this is super delicious. I use it to infuse cocktails with, but you can spread it on your toast as well.
So just to come back to that, then for example, that 2-to-1 ratio, you have 200 mils of water, 100 grams of sugar, and that's in a saucepan dissolving, and then after that you add the carrot.
You can actually add it all at the same time if you want to. I am just going to come closer, apologies, but I just want you to see how delicious this looks. And the
it's quite nice to see your face a bit closer up as well, Nathan, actually. Yeah. You mentioned you had a home haircut the other day.
You have me.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Thank you. So this is super easy, nice and simple to do. As long as you leave it on a pan or a hob, just to soak, simmer for about an hour or so. You come back to it, and you get this beautiful marmalade. And again, which has multiple uses. And what I've done, I've pre-made a cocktail here for us. Now, my hard breakfast martini, the reason it's a hard breakfast martini is because it's pretty much all booze apart from the addition of the marmalade here. So what I've done is gin, curacao, Pierre Ferrand dry curacao, I think is available in supermarkets, but you can buy a curacao or a triple sec, fairly simple at a supermarket actually.
Yeah, it's essentially like an orange liqueur, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. And then we've got a dollar, and we have a dry vermouth as well. So all of these three ingredients are really simple to grab hold of. You can take this curacao out. That was just an addition that I actually made for this, just for the one to add some orange flavors in there with the carrot marmalade. One of the interesting things, I guess, to note with this one though is with my carrot marmalade, what I actually did. So going back to the first ingredient that we used, is I actually use some of the fresh grapefruit juice in there as well, just to add a little bit of acidity. So what you're looking at is shredded carrot, water, grapefruit, sugar. So what you would do is, if you're thinking about taking away some of the water content and replacing it with another some sort of acidity or juice, just replace the equal parts and that's all. Yeah, it's nice, delicious. You get a little bit of acidity in the back as well, and that does reflect in the cocktail. So the hard breakfast martini is, this one is a completely all booze forward cocktail. So it is going to be stirred rather than shaken. So what I'm going to do is I have my premix here, again, of all of those ingredients plus the marmalade. Now, I'm just going to first off strain this out. Again, this is just a generic tea strainer. You can use other household items, for example, cheesecloth, if you have that. Again, readily available, super easy to get hold of. All right.
Yeah, the coffee filters seem to work very well, don't they?
Yeah, the coffee filter papers do as well.
Yeah, I've played with cheesecloth and I found it quite a messy affair compared to coffee filters. It seems a lot easier to use for me.
Yeah, and as well, you don't have to then necessarily mess around with them afterwards and squeeze, you know?
Yeah.
But then, so I've got 2 servings worth of this cocktail here, this hard breakfast martini. Now I can just pop this in the fridge and that's going to last for quite a while, but given that it's only 2 servings, I'd imagine that, you know, you might go through this fairly quick as well. So you can pre-batch these in much larger quantities as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to measure out. So my ratio for this martini was 2-1-1. So 2 of gin, 1 of vermouth, 1 of curacao. So in mils, that equates to 40 ml of gin, 20 of the dry vermouth, and then 20 of the curacao as well.
Yeah.
If you wanted to just take
do you have some photography of these drinks, Nathan? I know your bar's got lots of great drinks imagery.
And do we have any?
Nice photography of this drink from the bar. I know you've got a very good set of cocktail photography from Speaking Code.
Yeah, we actually don't, but I'm going to take this opportunity to take a good photo as well. And I'm in a brand new apartment, so I'm looking forward to trying to figure out where I can get some good photos. But for sure, I'll have something coming with this one as well. And especially that we're going to use a pickled carrot as well, because I think colors super important in a cocktail as well. So visual plays a huge part. And to have, for example, if you think of a martini, and you would generally associate a lemon twist or an olive, if you've got a pickled carrot in the bottom of this as well, it creates some of the visual interest. So
Yeah, on our phone call when you said you had a sort of marmalade and carrot martini, that sort of struck my interest, as well as the banana cordial, banana soda with coffee.
yeah,
Really sounded very exotic drinks.
of course, yeah. Now we look to try and be a little bit creative, and I think a good starting point is always looking at classics and to see if there's anywhere else that you can take and do riffs or twists. Okay, so I'm going to add ice. What I've got here is a stirring vessel. We can do this in anything. It doesn't have to be a steel tin, but this is just something that's readily available to me. So you can also use any sort of glassware. You know, if you have like a nice big tumbler, even a mixing jug at home generally works for this. If it's glass though, then that's better than using something like a plastic jug. Okay, and again, something else that's just a bit of a DIY is a chopstick. I'm going to use a chopstick to stir this and ensure my drink.
And something I've heard quite a lot from bartenders is one of the things that people don't realise is how important dilution is to a cocktail. So how long would you stir this for to get the right dilution?
It also depends on the type of ice that you're using as well. Now I'm using quite large chunks here as well. There's not that much surface area exposed in them, so I'm gonna stir this for probably a minimum of about 90 seconds as well. There is a point where you reach an equilibrium of temperature and dilution as well, where it won't go any further than what you actually have it. But it is balance, ice, water. Some of these are the most important factors in making a cocktail. Having a cocktail that tastes too strong can put you off. Potentially ordering a second one as well, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing I sort of learned was the dilution. People don't think about it, but it can make a big difference to your perception of how nice that drink is. And sometimes it just needs just a bit more water in there and it'd be perfect, but it's too strong and it's overpowering.
Yeah, 100%. Especially when you have spirituous drinks as well, like this one, where where it's purely alcohol. You really want to enhance the flavors and really bring out some of the flavors that are in the drinks instead of having that taste of just pure alcohol in the back of your throat, you know. Okay, so drink is stirred down, chilled, ready to go. And then lastly, we're going to garnish with a pickled carrot. So the pickled carrot will also add a little bit of acidity in the cocktail, but then at the end as well, it'll be a nice savory treat for you.
Yeah, could that be used almost like a carrot rapide? You know, you see in the a lot of French restaurants, the sort of.
Oh yeah, 100%. And you know, these you have multiple uses out of these as well. The carrot brine can then go on to make vinaigrettes and dressings for salads. The carrots itself can also accompany many different types of fruits. And then you can also, as well, this one for me is just straight up water, vinegar, and salt and carrot. I'd encourage people to get a little bit more creative with this as well. And you can add spices, so spices and herbs, some lemon verbena maybe, or some lemon balm, a little bit of Thai basil, pepper, cloves, cinnamon, nutmegs, things like that all work really well in pickling something like this. And then here you have it. So it's a hard breakfast martini.
There we go. And sort of along that breakfast theme, I believe that your sort of banana cordial is probably there or thereabouts to make a coffee.
So, this taste. Yeah, good to go. See, I'm just going to use a touch of the soda water here just to rinse. Now, if you notice that I actually used the soda water here for my twist on my Tom Collins, so then I can use the rest of that now for my banana soda. So I recommend, it's really about understanding how much you have left. This is a 500 ml bottle. Now, I generally work off the ratio of 1 to 5. So I would add 100 ml of syrup per 500 ml bottle. So if I'm now down to what looks like about 300 mils, I'm then going to pull back, and I'm only going to really use the 60 mils. So I use 60 ml of the banana cordial in this, and then we're good to go. Okay, so.
And that's just the bananas, sugar and water. That's all it is.
Exactly that, nice and simple. I'm going to set this aside just for a moment because we can reuse that. We can then pre-bottle the banana cordial and have the banana cordial sitting there for a little while. And then I'm now going to use 60 ml of this. And we actually got about 60 ml. In my soda water. See, it actually doesn't affect the carbonation at all. And then another 10 ml. I'm not going to shake this, but I'm just going to just slightly tilt and just allow that all to mix in together.
Yeah.
And again, same with the banana cordial. There's a bunch of things, again, like we said before, you can add to that to be a bit more adventurous. Now, for me, I think such a refreshing drink in the morning, definitely a nice boost. Rather than just having coffee, is having coffee topped with banana soda. Let's have a little go with this. Get my ice. So I've already got a pre-made espresso. Have you ever had coffee before with some kind of carbonation?
No, I just drink black coffee every morning, every day for the last 10, 15 years and haven't deviated. So I'm quite keen to give this a go.
Yeah, of course. And I haven't drank in over a year now, so tempted as it is to actually drink these cocktails in front of me. Apologies, I'm teasing, but this one is definitely for me because I can drink this one. There's no alcohol. But on that, what you can do though, if you did want to make this an evening drink, well, quarantine, right? Then any rules apply. You can add things like rum. Rum would be a great addition to this drink. Rum, coffee, banana.
If you're going to add rum to that, would you need to add anything else, or would just a shot of rum go straight in there?
A shot of rum goes straight in there. It's already sweet enough, but also you can adjust that if you want to add maybe any more banana cordial to the drink itself. Use your banana cordial. You can even make a banana liqueur by using that cordial, just if you want to add your banana liqueur to vodka instead of soda water, for example. Yeah, there's many possibilities. Rum would be a great base spirit in this, and then maybe some other kind of sweetened liqueurs as well. So maybe another curacao or a drop of curacao in there would work great. personally, I think this is such a good morning drink. It's really refreshing as well. So yeah, cheers.
Yeah, thank you, Nathan. I like the idea of mixing up the morning routine, and banana cordial coffee sounds quite an exotic way to start the day.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so thank you. So you've shown us quite a few different ways in which to use, very common household ingredients. I know if I went downstairs now, I'd have like all three of those in the kitchen. So I might start experimenting with them. And you've created quite a lot of different drinks using very few different spirits. So it feels like all this is very achievable. And the idea of this conversation was to give people, ideas and inspiration for mixing up their home drinking repertoire, because it's easy to get stuck in a rut. And at the minute, obviously, people do have time to experiment. And I know myself, I've got much more into baking and making and doing things that I would quite like to have done but haven't done before. So after this phone call, we'll write down all these recipes so people can access them very easily. We'll try and supplement this with some photography of the drinks. And fingers crossed, in the not too distant future, people will be able to go back and enjoy these drinks in a more social environment. And if people haven't been before, I really would recommend. I haven't been to Double Down yet because it's recently opened, but I worked very closely with Speaking Code last year. They were the winners of Best Cocktail at Cocktail City Manchester. And it's a beautiful little bar, one of Manchester's probably hidden gems, best kept secrets, very intimate, focus on table service. So I can imagine that when people are back out and are socializing, this will be the sort of environment that people want to come back into.
We invite people to share this experience with us, because if along the journey as well, we experiment and we like to be creative and we like to play. So we hold nothing back, and we love to share these experiences with people.
And is there anything people should know? Obviously, during this period, bars are responding in different ways. Can I ask just a bit about how you've approached this period as a bar owner yourself?
Of course, yeah. So we're actually, we offered a delivery service for a couple of weeks. We're still carrying on with some cocktails to your door through other platforms. So we just launched a cocktail with Bacardi right now, Bacardi brands. So through Deliveroo, you'd be able to drink one of our creations at home. But at the moment, in the meantime, what we're actually doing as well is we're working on some branding ideas. We're writing new menus. So again, with the reduce and reuse approach, we're creating some very interesting products to put on our next cocktail menu, which I'm personally very excited about, because it goes a level up into how much how possible it is to actually get the maximum from a lot of the products that you're using. So working on those things at the moment, and then everybody's keeping well, keeping focused, and then we should be back pretty strong actually once all this is over. So
yeah, good. Well, it's been really really nice getting to know you over the last year or so, and I'm glad we were able to have this conversation today. And fingers crossed we will be sharing a drink face to face in the not too distant future. So really appreciate that, Nathan. I know you're a busy man at the minute, and to give me so much time is really good of you. And just say thank you very much again, and hope all those cocktail recipes and ideas and his ethos of reduce, reuse, recycle is one that appeals to people who watch this video or read the blog. And what a great way to spend the afternoon. And thank you, Nathan.
No problem at all. Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Okay. Take care, sir.
We'll see you soon. If anyone needs to reach out, feel free.
Thank you, Nathan. Take care. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.